Well, it was only fitting to start with the black screen there because it feels like a funeral, does it not? Oh, welcome to our post-game show. Browns 20, Bears 17. A feeling that is all too familiar. Bears have control. They have a fourth quarter lead. Can't convert some third and fourth and shorts. Leave the door open. Lose the game. We've been here before. We have been here before, folks. Jeez, this one hurts. Give me your one-word reaction while I'm gathering thoughts here. One-word reaction to this loss because this one's hard to fathom. We'll get to this one next, Rolly. I just want to get their one-word reaction first. Nintendo says dropped. Ryan says pathetic. Peter says dead. Glenn sucks. Arkine miserable. Steve pathetic. Philip destruction. I like that one. It feels like destruction could be coming. Don't say that, Jim. You got a bunch of fans going through it with you. Williams season. Caleb Williams could be. Does kind of feel like it's could be over for Justin, man. Not declaring that just yet, but not good enough today. Not good enough. Ending from Zach. Debacle. Dr. Lynn says, quote, improvement.
Do you want to add in the stream on the other
Yeah. All right, we're going to end our watch party stream, by the way. So if you're watching over there, come join our post-game show. Dom, I see your $5 super chat. I appreciate it. But we're going to sign off on that stream, focus on post-game. Collapse from Cursed. Bye, Getsy. Get Getsy out of here. Seriously, don't wait till the end of the season. Your playoff chances are like almost nil now. Why give him 3 more games? I mean, how brutal are the 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1 calls? I'm not joking. You didn't even need to score on those drives, although on the 4th and 1, if you convert, you almost certainly at least get 3. Just a couple first downs, though, would have been so massive. Like, if you convert one of those, I think the Bears win. They have got to get better in short yardage, man. I mean, the Tyler Scott jet sweep on 3rd and 1 is one of the all-time bad calls, Rolly.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I mean, that is just wow.
And then to add insult to injury, to the Bears at least, Panthers won.
Yeah, so not only are your playoff chances basically dead now, Carolina won. So the number 1 pick is not a lock. I mean, you're still in good position here, but
I believe last time it was updated, they still have a 1-game lead on New England.
I'm looking at it now. The SOS is almost identical to New England. 0.523 for Carolina, 0.524 for New England. So there's a scenario where if Carolina wins one more game and the Panthers or and the Patriots lose out, that the Bears, they may not get the number 1 pick.
Remaining schedule for Carolina, by the way, in case you're wondering, it is Green Bay next week, who lost again.
They're playing some bad ball. Is that in Green Bay or in Carolina?
I believe it is in Green Bay. I'll double check. Then they play Jacksonville, and then they finish the year, I think, hosting Tampa.
I mean, they'll be underdogs in all those, but it's the NFL, man. Anyone can win.
I lied. They are They were at home next week against Green Bay.
That's winnable with how the Packers have been playing.
They finished
the last 2 weeks.
2 at home, Packers, Bucks, and on the road in Jacksonville. They'll lose in Jacksonville.
I still think they'll probably lose all 3, but it's not a given.
No.
Next week feels like the big one because it'll be must-win for Tampa in Week 18 almost certainly.
But you almost wonder if that is bad because Carolina will want to play spoiler to a division rival.
Yeah, but if they've already clinched, Tampa's not going to be playing anyone. Like if they've already clinched the South.
That's true.
So that's on the table too.
Guess
not a good day for the Bears is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Not a good day for the Bears. And what's so frustrating is this game was there to win, and if you win it, it felt like, I mean, everything was ahead of this team. Like, next 2 games at home against warm weather teams to get to 8-8. And I think with how these other games had started to play out, At 9-8, if you could somehow beat Green Bay in Week 18, you feel like you'd get in. But now, I don't think 8-9 is going to get you there. Like, I just don't think you're going to have the tiebreakers. I do think there's a good chance the 7 seed will be 8-9, but I don't think the Bears will have the tiebreakers to be that team. So, tough day, man. Who do you blame for the loss? I have a poll up. Luke Getsy, Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, Darnell Mooney. No surprise, Getsy is the leading vote getter, which I would agree. He's definitely number one. But Fields did not play good enough. Flus, as good as the defense was, brutal call on 3rd and 15. Like, a borderline fireable call where you blitz on 2nd down, cool, nice, you got it to 2nd and 15. Then you call another one on 3rd and 15 where on 3rd and longs, Joe Flacco had just been dumping it off underneath all game. And Justin Jones, you drop him into coverage on David Njoku. What are you doing? Like, as a coach, that scenario where your defensive tackle is having to cover a athletic tight end, that cannot be an option in your scheme. It just can't. There's no scenario. Tunyon drop as well. Yeah, Tunyon could very easily be in this poll. Yes. And I tweeted at the time, when Tunyon dropped that, and if you guys were watching our watch party, I got fired up after that. You knew how significant that was going to be. Now, it doesn't mean the Bears shouldn't have still won. They should have. But that was a monumental play, especially in the first half when the weather was much worse. Points were at a premium. That would have been, at minimum, he gets tackled well in field goal range, but he might have taken that to the house and scored, and he dropped it. Not good enough, man. If you guys want to super chat and vent, we will take your questions. Daily basis, are Caleb and Drake going to will the receivers to not drop catchable balls better than Fields does? I still would rather draft Marvin Harrison Jr., fire Getsy regardless. I hear your point. I just think if they're not seeing enough progress from Justin, they're going to reset the QB clock. I'm with you. Too many drops. Tyler Scott, big drop. Darnell Mooney's fall, guys. And Hail Mary aside, he's just not that guy anymore. I don't know if he just needs a fresh start somewhere else. I mean, he's half-assing on blocks now. That's like one thing he had been reliable upon most of the season. It's bad, man.
Orlovsky jinxed the Bears.
I saw if they keep playing like this, you have to keep Flus. What a loser. Fucking Orlovsky. Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
You just know that loss is significant for the future of this team. You just know. All right, let's get to my post-game reaction. We're going to break this one down. What's the sponsor for this?
Prize Picks.
I thought it was. Is it? Okay. I thought for some reason it was GT. Okay. All right. Man, I'm just still collecting myself. Here we go. Let's get to my post-game reaction. This is about how I feel. Welcome to our Bears postgame show, Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Browns 20, Bears 17 in a game that should have never been lost by the Bears, but how many postgame shows have I done like this where, yep, the Bears should have won and they didn't? Here's another one. Bears had a fourth quarter lead, 17-7. Got stopped on a critical 4th and 1 in fringe field goal territory. We'll talk about that play. Defense, which was good most of the day, had a couple busted coverages down the stretch, and on the last play of the game, a Hail Mary. The ball is literally laying in Darnell Mooney's lap as he's flat on his back in the end zone after the ball is tipped, and he can't catch it. 20-17, Browns get it done. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this one, talk big picture, because this feels significant for the future of this franchise. But who do you blame for today's loss? Who do you blame for the loss? There's a lot of guys you could blame. You could blame Justin Fields. We'll get to him in a second. You could blame Luke Getsy. You could blame Matt Eberflus. I know the defense was good most of the day, but they collapsed late, and he had one of the most brutal calls I've ever seen a defense make on 3rd and 15. We'll talk about that too. Blame Robert Tonyan. Opening second drive of the game. Actually a good design by Getsy. Moves the pocket. Fields lofts a beautiful ball, and he drops it. For what might have been a touchdown, at minimum, you're inside the 25. You could blame Darnell Mooney. You could blame a lot of people, man. The bottom line is you didn't get it done once again, and Justin Fields didn't get it done once again. Yes, there were drops. Yes, both his picks were on Hail Marys, so I'm not going to hold those against him. But 19 of 40, even if you want to say drops aside, it should have been 23 of 40. Still not great. Now, yeah, if you add Tunyan's one and it's a 75-yard touchdown, it looks a lot better than that stat line. And again, I don't really care about the picks. They're both Hail Marys. But it's not good enough, man. The offense is too choppy. It's too choppy. I told everyone I would make my decision after this season on what I would do at quarterback, and I'm not making a final decision today, but today did swing the pendulum for me a little bit. Now I'm going to take time to review, think about it more, but it's just not good enough, man. And yes, I think Getsy stinks. We're going to talk about him. The guy's a loser, but there still was enough plays that could have been made. Guys, you scored 17 points. The defense gave you 14. Pick 6 and another pick down to the 1-yard line. Yes, I'm aware Tonyan dropped it. No one understands that better than me. It was a perfect ball that should have been 7 points. But even then, okay, the offense scored 10 points. Let's not act like you with a 4.3 speed quarterback versus Joe Flacco should be advantage Fields. Now, Flacco is not good either. I know he threw for 374, made a couple of big throws down the stretch, a couple busted coverages, but he threw 3 picks and it could have been 5. So I'm not even sitting here being like, Flacco was better than Fields. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is in these conditions, you should have been able to find more offensively than you did. And that's not all on Fields. I get that. But it's just like at some point, man, like it's got to be crisper. You got to go play a defense like this and be the reason your team won. Had they won today, he wouldn't have been the reason. Now, you don't have to do that week in and week out. The great quarterbacks, sometimes they win because their defense was awesome. The Chiefs this year are a great example. Their defense has been better than their offense this year. But guess what? Mahomes has been the best quarterback in football for half a decade now. Like, you got to have that dude, and the talent's there, and I still believe in Justin to a certain extent. It just doesn't, to a biggest extent, to be honest, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to happen here for a lot of reasons, a lot of which are out of his control. But today felt significant to me. The loss, the way they lost. I mean, the ending not just symbolic? I mean, which, by the way, the play with 10 seconds left to try and get into field goal range, I don't know what the hell was that, but Hail Mary, the ball tips up. Mooney's on his back in the ground. There's a photo. Go check out Adam Hogue on Twitter. The ball is sitting in his lap to win the game, and he, freaks out and pops it up, and it's picked. It's like you can't make it up. I know it's happening fast down there, but, you don't get a better opportunity. And Darnell Mooney, I don't know if it's on you, if it's on Justin Fields, but he feels like a player halfway out the door to me. I mean, let's talk 4th and 1. I hate the play call. Let me get that out there. But to a small extent, I get why Getsy ran play action boot QB run. Why? Because the inside run, especially with Deontay Foreman, was not working there. They call it play action. Darnell Mooney, who, yeah, you should probably have a bigger guy blocking there. If he just touches the guy on the edge, Fields gets an easy first down. Instead, he half-asses, doesn't get there, and the defender dives and trips up Justin just enough where he's half a yard short of the first down. Come on, bro. Do you want to win or not? And I know Mooney's had it rough. They've had him be a blocker more than a receiver. But him and Justin aren't on the same page. There was a play earlier in the game where Mooney doesn't drive back to the football. It's almost picked, and Justin runs straight to him and starts talking to him like they're best friends apparently off the field, but they can't figure it out on the field. They're out of sync. I think Mooney's gone after this year. But it's just the offense. And by the way, I hampered DJ Moore. You saw what this offense is against a good defense without DJ Moore at full strength. It's not a good offense. Just not. So, yeah, even if the Bears switch quarterbacks, which kind of feels like that's where this is heading, you still got pieces you need. You need a center. You need another weapon, maybe two. Tough, man. That was a tough loss. Hit that sub button. Win or lose, we're going to have Bears coverage all season long. Don't miss out here on the channel. We're almost at 82,000 subscribers. I know this sucks right now, but I still think, and we're going to talk coaching in a minute, with the right structure, this team can be winning soon at a fairly high level. But soon isn't this year, which definitely sucks. What doesn't suck is Prize Picks. I lost money during this Bears game, but I'm going to get it back this afternoon. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Daily fantasy made easy. All you do is make 2 to 6 player entries, and if they will go for more or less than their stat projections. This was 2 swings and 2 whiffs here. Deontay Foreman, I thought they would run through him a lot. He never got going today. Way less there. Joe Flacco didn't play well, but he found enough chunk plays, threw for over 370, so that was more. But again, the good news is I used code CLNS when I signed up with Prize Picks to get an extra $100, which you can too. Deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Get back on the saddle just like I am and make money every single day. Sports every single day. It's a lot of fun. Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. All right, let's talk about Luke Getsy. Get this guy off my football team. It should have happened weeks ago. It should have happened months ago. His situational play calling, I mean, he has no feel for the game at hand. None. He has no feel whatsoever. The 4th and 1, yes. I'm not giving him a pass for that one. I understand that one a little bit more than some of the other things we saw. But even there, it's like, you can't get a yard. You get that first down, the game's pretty much over. You're up 17-7. Instead, the Browns stop you, get the ball back, and go get a field goal to cut it to 7. And then, on the next drive, it's 3rd and 1. What do? Jet sweep to Tyler Scott for a loss of 4. You have to punt 3 and out. Like, you get 1 first down on either of those 2 3rd and or 4th and 1s, you probably win this game. Or at worst, you go to overtime. There's not enough time left for the Browns to go win the game. That's pretty certain. And you go finesse on 2 plays where you have a yard or less to go. That's just bad coaching, man. Like, there's no defending it. And then, in a 17-all game, or actually, yeah, I think it was 17-all. I can't remember when this was, but there was a clear play to me. I think it was 17-10 still on a different drive. On 2nd and 7, where it's like midway through the 4th, so it's like, okay, let's chew some clock. You call a max protection shot play where only 2 receivers go downfield. It takes way too long to develop. The protection doesn't hold up even though it's max protect. So you take a sack for like a loss of 15, and you end up having to punt. It's like, to me, that's a in-game feel type of thing. Like, okay, yeah, in general, that's a good opportunity for a shot play. But in that position right there, feel the game out, bro. The offense hasn't been that good. Hand the ball off, try to get to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, give yourself a chance on 3rd down. Oh, and by the way, worst case, you can punt the football and pin them back. Luckily, on 4th down, they picked up like 10 yards, and it didn't hurt the field position that much. But again, it's just like they had no chance to convert after that 2nd down. It's no feel. He has no feel in the important moments of the game. And just done with Getsy, man. The Flus conversation's a little trickier because the team does still play hard. The defense has improved, but I don't know, man. This is on him too. I mean, think about the defense down the stretch and one play in particular. And yes, you can't keep asking the defense to bail you out. Keep doing it. I get it. But on 3rd and 15, I told our producer, Rolly, who a lot of you guys know, I said at some point Flus is going to dial up a blitz. When's it going to happen? Well, on 2nd down, they did, and the Browns threw a screenplay out of it, but they blew it up. No gain. I was like, okay, nice. 3rd and 15, play coverage now. Joe Flacco on 2nd and 3rd and long today. He was just taking the underneath stuff because the Bears were getting good pressure. They ran some weird stunt blitz where Justin Jones ends up in coverage on David Njoku on a little crossing route. Flacco just has to float it up to him, picks up 17 on 3rd and 15. How is that schematically in your base defense? How does Justin Jones end up in coverage on the biggest play of the game. I don't care about the rest of the game. I'm caring about that moment right there. And you can't make a play. You call some funky bullshit, let's confuse them, and put Justin Jones in a cloud coverage. Are you fucking kidding me, Flus? What on earth are you doing? And that's why, yes, the defense has gotten a lot better. Yes, there's been progress. But today is such a setback, man. If you don't think today is a setback, you don't know ball. Cleveland had everybody out. They were down to one starting lineman. Both tackles were out to start the game. Their center was out. They lost Joel Bitonio, I believe, in the first quarter, for sure in the first half, and you can't get it done. They had both their starting safeties out. So I don't want to hear, I don't know what Flus is saying at the podium. I don't know what Ryan Poles is thinking. I don't want to hear, well, that's a damn good team we play. We had them on the ropes. Yeah, you did have them on the ropes because you should have had them on the ropes because they're depleted and they're starting a guy at quarterback who was on the couch sucking his wife's whatever a month ago. Excuse the graphic language, but come on, man. You're up 17-7 in the fourth quarter and you can't win it. You're not a good team, man. Oh, momentum. You're 2-2 in your last four. It's not momentum. What, Flus finally won 2 in a row, finally beat an NFC North opponent, and this team's turned the corner? A win today would have been turning the corner, especially if you could win your next 2 against inferior opponents at home. This is a setback, period. Beating Arizona next week is not a bounce back. They suck. I expect to win next week. I expect to beat Atlanta the week after. They lost to Carolina today, which, by the way, puts the number 1 overall pick in peril now. So not only are you pretty much out of the playoff picture, number 1 pick is not a guarantee anymore either. Bad day for the Bears. There's no way around it. I don't know where you go from here, man. I think you got to reset the staff, man, and that means you're probably resetting quarterback. It's all back on the table, man. And you had this in control to find a way to win this game. I said before this game, this is not going to be a statistical game where I'm judging Justin. Can he manage the game? Can he make plays in big moments? Not enough. It's not all on him. I would say a lot of it isn't on him today. But at the end of the day, the quarterback's got to find a way. And especially when all this chaos is around with the coaching deficiencies and these defensive breakdowns, the O-line drop passes, are you going to make a play or not? And he didn't. Again, it may not be fair, but life ain't fair, man. Not my words, Fields' words a couple weeks ago when asked about his future. They didn't get it done. That's the bottom line. Appreciate you tuning in to our post-game show. Want more Bears coverage? We'll be live on Monday as well. Subscribe. Dubba, pull the plug. No Super Bowl winners here. I mean, people who were thinking Super Bowl, oh my God, the Bills punter just got absolutely trucked. That's going to be roughing. I don't know how he missed the block. Yeah, playoffs are dead. I don't think the simulator's updated. Club Dub says the Bears need a better OC and head coach. Defense is damn good, but the freaking offense shit the bed again. Yeah, punter couldn't land. I think this is roughing. If you're watching the Cowboys game, this looks like roughing to me. I mean, I think that's roughing. All right, CNS with the 10. He blames Mooney. I don't blame him for the loss, but he could have won you the game. Ball was in his lap, man. Shouldn't have come to that, but ball was in his lap. Oh, man. Chris, Fields was hitting dudes in their hands. Dude, I'm aware, man. No one has defended him more than me. But it's like, at some point, it's got to look better. There were also times where he's missing throws. Times where he's holding the ball too long. Oh, man. He shows up after 3 months. Don't you owe me $50, Alan? We'll come back to TJ. I want to address this. You said the Bears wouldn't win 5 games. At H Graham NFL, send me 50, Alan. He said, let's go, Brownies. Knew the Bears would choke. You'll better hope Caleb works out. All right, man. You said the Bears wouldn't win 5 games. I'm sure I don't expect you to honor the bet, but good for you. TJ Peck, it feels like the Mitch situation again. Play calling doesn't benefit the QB. QB doesn't play good. They both get blamed, and the cycle continues. Why can't we catch a break? I'm with you, man. Regardless of how this plays out, the Bears completely mismanaged Fields. Period. End of story. They did. Now I will say this, and time has shown this. Fields is a far superior player than Mitch. Mitch is horrible. He's gotten worse since leaving Chicago, which is kind of hard to believe. Beans the comedian, I almost just had to buy a new TV from watching that game. Hail Mary at the end of the half really pissed me off. Yeah, I don't know what Flus. I'm going to see if there's a Flus quote on the Cairo range yet. He said the kick was too far and into the wind, so it was out of Cairo's range. That was his quote. So why not run the ball the play before and get a few yards?
I don't care how good he's been. If you don't trust him to try a 57-yard field goal at the end of the half, you're going to need a new kicker.
That's been his one problem. He doesn't have the strongest leg. He's 6 of 6 from 50-plus this year.
We've said multiple times, like earlier in the year, he was the best player on the team. But like the thing is, like if you cannot trust him to try a 57-yard field goal at the end of a half,
yeah, that's a problem.
Then that is an issue.
Because there's going to be 3 to 5 games a year, especially playing in this division, where weather's going to be a problem, and that undercuts how many points you can score. Appreciate it, Beans. Sirach, coaching malpractice, QB sabotage, draft MHJ, O-line help, not Caleb Williams. Look, the coaching stinks, especially offensively. Getsy's not good. For a team that has a mobile quarterback, they should not be this bad in short yardage. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Mike Ditka's mustache could have had the dub, no mustache rides for anyone. That's a damn shame. I said I would shave when the Bears season's over. I might just shave tomorrow.
Well, it's over.
Deal's over.
It technically is over.
Well, it's technically not, but metaphorically it's over. Well, and you know it's going to be brutal, right? They can't make the playoffs, but
they're going to win the last.
They're going to win their last 3, miss by a game, and have like the 16th pick.
No, I'll get you 14, 15.
Ah, great.
I've been there.
Oh, Jesus, dude. I mean, the 3 losses they've had, Rolly, to Cleveland, Detroit, and Denver are pretty mind-blowing. You might have one of those once a season, a collapse like that, crazy comeback for the other team. 3 in the same season, bro. That's some Bears shit right there. That is some Bears shit. All right, we caught up on Supers. Huh?
Brock Purdy is hurt.
Oh, really?
Got smoked.
He
might have a concussion.
Sam Darnold time.
Yeah, we're caught up.
If you guys want to keep this going, you can super chat. If not, we can call it early. This sucks, man. This is one of those losses, Rolly, where you don't want to watch football the rest of the day. You're just like, you know what? We've all been there, where you're just like, sometimes you lose, and you're like, yeah, whatever. This is not one of those. This is one of those where it's like, you just want to go home, eat some fatty food, and do anything but watch football. Like, I was hyped for this Bills-Cowboys game. Now I just don't care. Dr. Funky, Darnell Mooney, fall-off needs to be studied. I mean, look, he had that bad injury last year, but him and Fields have just not been in sync all year. I don't know what the problem is. Steven, who could replace Getsy if we decide to keep Flus?
Not doing that.
The sad thing is I actually could see them doing that.
If they do that, nothing will change.
I mean, you would hope the offense gets better, but I'll throw a couple names at you. Who's the Bills guy I'm forgetting about?
Brady.
Ken Dorsey.
I was going to say.
He was the DC under Frank Reich in Indy. Could you bring Reich in to run the offense? Role reversal? What's going to happen in L.A.? I don't know what Kellen Moore's stock is at this point, but he's going to be available.
His stock is as low as it gets.
Yeah, it's plummeted. I don't know, man. That's why I'd almost just rather hire an offensive coach. Explain how you're decisive on coaches, but not Fields, who's been losing longer. Misspelled losing there. What can happen in 3 games to undo 3 years of underachieving? I'm not saying anything could happen in 3 games. Did I not just say the pendulum just swung in the get a new quarterback direction? And I've been out on Getsy for 3 months. So everyone's timeline can be different, but I hear you. I hear you, Larry. I hear you. I just look. The bottom line is, Larry, and this has been my feeling, and it continues to be. I think with better coaching and structure, Fields will have more success. I do. I think if Fields was Atlanta's quarterback this year, what are they now? 6-8.
Yep.
I think they're at minimum 8-6, maybe 9-5. They just lost to Carolina when their defense gave up 9 points. You're telling me they don't win that game with Justin Fields? Come on, man. I'm not even saying he's elite. I just think he's too talented to see the inconsistencies. That's been my point all along. Shane Easy, toughest loss in Stubble Doink. It could be, man. Like, it really could. It's up there, man. Because the schedule lined up for you. If you could just win this one, I mean, 8-8 going to Lambeau is very much on the table, and now it's now at best you'll be 7-9, and even then your playoff chances are probably shot. Bills might be back, by the way.
Oh, I said the other day that I was talking to someone. I was like, I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Michael, to all those say Fields is good but has no talent. Stafford had no talent in the Lions and bad coaching. Hang on a second. Am I reading this correctly? Matthew Stafford didn't play with arguably the greatest receiver of all time in Detroit, in Calvin Johnson? Michael, I get Detroit's a dumpster fire, but he played with Calvin Johnson for about a decade. Let's that I don't know if you just had a brain fart and just forgot that, but that's ridiculous. I love DJ Moore. He doesn't sniff Calvin Johnson's jockstrap. Okay? Like, come on, man. By the way, Marvin Jones is a pretty damn good number 2 while he was there. His peak was better than Mooney's peak. Like, they had talent on offense. They did. Dubba, the $2 super chat. We need to sign vet quarterback and draft a quarterback. They might go that route. Like, if you trade Fields,
Baker Mayfield.
Sign Ryan Tannehill to be your backup and draft Caleb Williams and keep Bajent as like your QB3 developmental guy.
Bridge quarterback Baker Mayfield.
I mean, he's going to cost, though. He got $8 million to play for the Bucs this year. I bet he gets more than that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not paying him that.
Not give him one for 15?
No. I'd rather just take my lumps with the rookie and have Bajent be the backup. Now, if you can get one of those vets for like 8 or less, sure. I'm not giving Baker Mayfield $15 million. Ray, Harrison, don't give up on Justin. I'm not giving up. It's just you know where this is going. It's not even about what we want. Like, he has not had good enough structure in this organization since day one. They drafted him with a lame duck GM and coach. They set him up for failure that year. They didn't give him any reps in the offseason. Dalton gets hurt week 2. They throw him into the fire in Cleveland. It was a disaster, and it's been a roller coaster ride ever since. New coach and GM come in. They tear down the roster. He's got nothing to work with last year. This year, yes, it's better to work with. But it's still been up and down. And he has improved. We've talked about that. He has improved this year. But I just feel like this GM is going to say, I have a chance to take my quarterback, someone that I can draft and reset the QB clock. So I just feel like that's where this is going. Matthew, dream scenario, trade one with Oakland, deal for Devontae Adams, draft the Dunze Neighbors or Bowers. Well, if you trade for Adams, you don't probably need to draft a receiver that high. Justin plus DJ Adams, the Dunze Neighbors, Komet Bowers, either his greatest show on Fields.
If you get the punt.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But, yeah, if you trade for Devontae Adams, I don't think you're taking a receiver in the top 10. Jeff Stewart, this loss was not on Fields. This was on 100 receive. I mean, look, if Tunyon catches the ball, I feel like the whole game's different. They had a chance to jump on him early. Couldn't do it. Michael Hyde, that Turb at CJ, I think mean True. CJ retired 2 years before Stafford got his first 4K with the Lions. retired in 2010. Stafford first 4K was in
I'm pretty
2012.
sure that's not true.
Calvin Johnson has not been retired for 13 years.
I think he retired in like 2014.
Calvin Johnson's last year in the NFL was 2015.
2015?
So, yeah, he's been gone a while, but him and Stafford overlapped for over 5 years. I think Stafford, what was he, 08?
Yes.
So they had 7 years together?
I'm pretty sure they
drafted. That's a career for a lot of guys.
Pretty sure they drafted Calvin Johnson the year before they drafted Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. They played together a while, man. They played together a while.
Calvin Johnson.
Dak just took helmet to helmet. That did not look good. All right, where are we at here?
Caught up now.
Caught up.
First time.
Jake, first timer. Shout out to you. Dan Marino couldn't win with the staff. Flus and Getsy made the wrong decision week after week. Not calling timeout on 3rd and 15 to stop clock is insane. It's an interesting point, Rolly. You were asking me if you would have taken a timeout before that 3rd and 15. Well, maybe they should have, just to get the right goddamn defense in there, because what they called was a disaster. The reason I said to not call a timeout is because even if you stop them there, they're at midfield. They're going to punt inside the 10. You really are going to try to go the length of the field with 1:10 to go with how that game was trending? I just didn't like the chances there. But shit, looking back on it, you ran some BS schematic anyway, so might as well. Maybe it would have led to some common sense. I got to see if he said something about Justin Jones. I mean, that was just ridiculous. Matt Eberflus, when asked about that 3rd and 15 play call, I got to make a better call. No shit, dude. I don't care what situation it is, Rolly, how does Justin Jones end up in coverage? He's not even an athletic defensive tackle. Like, it'd be one thing if he was like a freak athlete. He's not. That's mind-boggling. That is mind-boggling. That reminds me of, this is like 7 years ago. TCU was playing Oklahoma one year, Rolly. They had an edge rusher stuck on Marquise Brown on the outside. Like, they motioned him out, and for some reason, he ended up as the guy out there. Guess what happened? Straight go ball touchdown. Like, how does that happen? And by the way, if you're caught in between on a scheme thing, you have to take a timeout. You cannot get burned on 3rd and 15 there. M. Jimp Show. We watched the All 22 on. Say what?
Did you read Dre Days?
Dre Days. Clint Kubiak or Darrell Bevel. I'd take either of those guys. They both have good reps. Bevel's pretty good, honestly. Jimp Show. Will you watch All 22 versus Fields? I'll probably just let one of the experts do it for me and then evaluate to what they say, but I'll probably try and dig in there. I'll be curious to see how it looks. I mean, DJ clearly wasn't helped. I know there was one missed opportunity, Tyler Scott on a corner. He never looked his way. Now, would he have caught the ball? I don't know. He dropped a big one late in the game. Slade Nevin, lifelong depression. Give Harbaugh $20 million. I do think the all-in on Harbaugh scenario has got to be revisited. Like, come on, man. You think Harbaugh would have let that happen? No. No way. No way. Barack Obama, explain how Caleb Williams makes his team better. Fields with experienced coaches equals playoff contenders. Why hasn't Poles fired Flutes or Getsy yet? I'm not even saying it would make them better. I even said it earlier. I think Fields year 4 versus a rookie quarterback for next year, advantage Fields year 4. But if they don't think long-term he can have them contending for Super Bowls, which you'd have to make a decision on paying them in the next couple of years, then they're going to reset probably and take the chance. But as far as why hasn't he fired Flus or Getsy yet, I think they just want to let it play out. But Getsy should not be allowed to get on the plane today. And that was a joke. That was a joke of a performance. Beezy Man, Stafford played 7 years with Megatron. Yeah, I mean, that's a career, man. Like, it's 1.5 contracts, almost 2. So, sure, there was a couple years after that he had less talent, but he's also an 8-year vet by then. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even close to apples. Not even close. Larry Lapper. Please explain to your chat what Fields' deficiencies are that are not roster related, so I don't have to address all these geniuses blaming the team. So Fields' deficiencies that are not roster related. Fumbling problem. Fumbled again today. They recovered it. That is not team deficient. That is him not having good enough ball security. And I would just say, I think it's gotten better, but processing. It's a tick slow. His dropback's a tick slow. If he could speed everything up by 15%, he'd be a much more advanced passer. So I would say all of that, Larry. Now, there's still a lot of team deficiencies, but it's less than what it was 2 years ago. It's less than what it was. Lucas Patrick, clear deficiency. Receivers after DJ Moore, clear deficiency. Oh, my God. Dak almost just threw a pick right to a defensive lineman. So it's a combination. I do think Luke Getsy, especially in situational spots, is not very good, Larry. He's a horrible play caller in short yardage. He can't figure it out. He just cannot figure it out. Now, I will say this. Maybe the Bears aren't very good on tush push in 3rd, 4th, and 1 because Lucas Patrick he doesn't have power. So he just gets bullied, and the defensive tackle's right in the quarterback's face. So maybe he's forced to do other stuff. I don't know. But you would think they could figure out how to get a yard, but they can't. They cannot. So his release is very slow. That's sped up, but yeah, it's still not super fast. I would agree with that. Fields had pressure on him pretty much as the ball hit his hands. If you fumble and your team recovers, it is not a turnover. When did I say it's a turnover? But you still don't want to put the ball on the ground, Garrett. Or Julian, whoever said that. Like, just because you recover a fumble doesn't mean putting the ball on the ground in the first place is a good thing or an acceptable thing. You can't put the ball in harm's way as a quarterback. At least you can't do it frequently. All right. We got to get out of here. Frustrating day. Got to regroup mentally and see what we're going to talk about tomorrow. It's going to be something. I'll tell you that. So, all right. Bear down in the chat. I'm sure James Allen did not send me the $50 he owes because he's a coward. But wouldn't expect anything else from a Browns fan. I'm Harrison Graham. We're signing off. Thanks to Rolly for hanging out for the last 5 hours. Shout out to you guys. Bears lose 20-17. Bear down.